What's up? Dogy here. Another weekend went by Georgia standards. That means another tournament went down. And this weekend, it was the end of TKNH's second season. Now, let me stop you right there. Because you heard that, TKN and you're thinking, all right, so Dogy went to check out some Tekken. I actually did not. Because the TKN House was so kind as to include a Sam Show tournament with their finale. So I went to see the new era of Georgia Sam Show, and it was a show to witness, needless to say. You're going to see a little bit of the results as I'm trying to skip past to the brackets real quick. But, yeah. This was 8-person tournament. Had Payne, Bot, and Bates, Ace Uno, Terrence, Neil, PhD Joshua, Shadow Ace, and Ultimate Leo, right? So just hearing those names by themselves, especially in the order I started to say them in, status quo tells you Payne Bot wins. Bates is very liable to get second, because that's how pretty much everything has gone ever since Sam Show has been released. Sam Show 7. But that wasn't the case at all. Like, it's actually a shame that none of this was recorded. Because, again, this was at the TKN House Finals. And so this tournament went on while everything was getting set up for their festivities, which you should take a second to go over to Mike's channel, Mike_ATL. I'm going to drop that in the description. Give that a watch, because, yeah, that was that was a good old ATL show. But the Sam Show. Bruh. The world has changed. The world has changed. Let me just run through the brackets, because one of the things that I'm trying to do with these wrap-ups is I'm trying to watch more matches so I can have even a little more insight of a lot more of the matches that went on. I know I just worded that horribly, but I don't feel like taking any more cuts. I'm getting really sick and tired of looking and being like, I didn't watch this, I didn't watch that, so I have absolutely nothing to say. And this is a pretty good starting point, because I already watched Sam Show, but by nature of how everything was in 404, and I was supposed to be doing pictures here or whatever, by the nature of how everything was, it was really easy for me to sit and digest a good amount of what was going on. So let's walk through these brackets. So you had your first round, Painbot versus Leo. That was Tam Tam versus Shiki. There wasn't really a whole lot to say about that. Painbot just outplayed Leo. Leo apparently doesn't like the Shiki versus Tam Tam matchup. He wasn't whiff punishing a lot. He wasn't like trying to just face rush and be a brute. I don't like the other term that is really popular in the FGC, but let's not go there. He wasn't just trying to slam his head into the wall, but he wasn't trying to really let Painbot hang himself. And Painbot, I mean, he wasn't trying to, but he's Tam Tam. He's going to be pressing buttons, right? He's going to be throwing like really any button Tam Tam throws. There's Painbot even says that the scimitar that Tam Tam has, the sword, is basically a hurt box, which is pretty true. But that was pretty open and shut case. Shadow Ace versus Joshua. I honestly didn't watch that. I guess I should point out that these 3 matches happened at the same time, which was Shadow Ace and Joshua, Bates and Neil, and Terrence and Ace Uno. And Painbot and Leo happened after the first wave. They only had 3 setups. I started to watch Terrence versus Ace Uno, but this was a Charlotte mirror. If you don't know Sam Show, know that Charlotte does not do a lot of damage. She is a lot of pokes, and she has a good amount of health in comparison to the rest of the cast. So even though this match started first, it finished long after these 2 were done, especially since it was a 3-game set. It took a while. Painbot Or Painbot. Bates versus Neil, for all intents and purposes, went the way you would have expected it right now. I'm saying this, and ironically, I don't remember if Bates played Hanzo, because he's been playing a good amount of Hanzo lately. But I do remember looking at this result, and I was like, yeah, that's about what I expected. I remember the games being close, but I was like, yep, Bates is still there. Neil has just a little ways to go. All right. Round 2, or semis, however you want to put it, since this is such a small bracket. Terrence versus Bates, and yes, I skipped down here on purpose. Terrence versus Bates makes sense. It makes sense because Terrence plays with Painbot and Bates a lot. If you haven't been keeping up with Georgia Sam's show, if you haven't been keeping up with Painbot specifically, he has Casa de Sam show, which is where he has anybody who wants to come to his house and play Sam show. He lives with Bates. They also live with Izzy Morrow. You don't know a whole lot about Izzy, but the three of them live together, so they play very often. And like outside of the core three, you might as well say Terrence lives there because he's there every time, grinding every time. And he's been getting closer and closer week after week. Both of them will say that Bates and Painbot will both say that Terrence is right there. Like, he is the number 3 man in the state. And the line between the three of them is very blurred. So, seeing Terrence beat Bates 2-1 doesn't surprise me. Now this honestly surprises me. And there's a really cool nuance to this. Without fluffing this, without going into a lot of details right now, there are a couple of things I do want to point out. But without like going into details, stereotypes, so on and so forth, the fact that Ace got a game off of Painbot is kind of mind-numbing to me. Because you show me this match on paper, you show me this match in person, and I'm like, I don't see where this happens. Like, I don't see Ace getting completely blown up, because he does play the game. He's been playing the game very consistently since Sam's shows come out. I just feel like he's still like a good 2 levels below Painbot. But him taking a game off of him shows otherwise. And the thing that was really cool about the game, Ace almost lost the game that he won. It was round 3. And this is how close it was. And I wish I could pull up a video to show you this, and I should have drew some diagrams for this. So round 3 starts. Both of them they're very close to Rage. I can't literally say one hit away from Rage because that's how crucial this was. Both of them are very close to Rage. Painbot starts off, he's playing Tam Tam now. Painbot's playing Tam Tam. And he throws 2 skulls at Shadow Ace. Okay? Shadow Ace just blocks the first one, and he missed the second one. It was either that he just blocked one of them, and he did not just block the other one. And because of that, he did not have Rage. Okay? A few seconds later, I think Ace hit a jump in, if I remember correctly. He hits Painbot, and he puts Painbot into Rage. And then he goes to jump again, and he gets weapon flip. He's about to get weapon flip, and he has to burst. Okay? The entire scenario would have been changed if Ace just blocked both of the skulls and had Rage when he got his hit, so he could have forced Painbot to burst first. Like, that's how close round 3 in game 2 was. Now, I actually put it in my notes at that point that the turning point of that match was that nuance right there, because before Ace started to bring it back, he was down to like a hit. Like he was basically dead to rights. But even then, he was able to claw his way back up to a game 3. Like, it was a really cool thing to see. But again, all you have right now is my word of mouth, the folklore and everything, because yeah, you ain't go there, so you ain't see it. Let me drop down to the bracket of alternative success. Down here to the losers bracket and kind of catch up to some stuff. Leo versus Jesua. Shiki versus Shizumaru. The only thing that struck me as odd about this matchup is in regards to what happened last week, which was Evo Japan, with the fact that there were, gosh, I forget how many. Was it 4 Shizumarus in top 8? There was a lot of Shizumaru. Leo kept running into tap. He kept running into tap. And if you don't know Jeshua's charging tap. It's not going to the Ys, he's charging tap. And at some point, like after the fact, when Leo was talking to somebody about it, he might have been talking to Jeshua or whoever was around, he mentioned that he forgot that Shizumaru had tap. Like, that the move existed. And I'm pretty sure if I could put a camera on myself, I could see the hair stand up on the back of my neck. Because I'm like, really? Huh. That's almost like forgetting to breathe. But he was able to hold on for dear life, knowing that he was running into like Eason plus time and time again. And he got to go on to Bates. Let me go on to this other match, though, trying to keep it even. Neil and Ace, like, I come down here and say, catch up with this, but this was a repeat of Gwinnett Brawl last week, and it's just a common occurrence in Macon. It's a common occurrence at Reboot. So, Neil getting the best of Ace, that's no surprise. Like, they play each other all the time. The thing that's surprising, and this is only in the context of this tournament, is you have to realize the guy who got third at A-Town Tidings goes 0-2. Now, again, this is only an 8-man tournament. You can basically say this is 8 killers. I'm not going to literally say it's 8 killers. I'm a hater, yes. But this is basically a tournament of 8 killers. And again, number 3 Headband doesn't get a game. Well, he doesn't get a match. He goes 0-2. Let me get my terminology right. He goes 0-2, doesn't get a match. That's wild. Paige versus Leo. I actually don't remember this. Again, this doesn't surprise me. This is another situation where I believe Bates is like a good at least 2 levels above Leo, so doesn't surprise me. Good that he got a game, but I didn't see this. I can't talk too much about this. Neil versus Ace. I didn't watch this either. I don't think I watched this either. And I say I don't think I watched this because the trail of Neil games at the end started to run together, and I'm gonna talk about them as we go through them. So I don't remember if this was like the beginning of the kid, or if I just straight up didn't watch it. But I don't remember the details of this one specifically. That puts us at our top 4 though: Painbot, Terrence, Bates, and Neil. Painbot, Terrence, Bates, up until the end of this, would easily submit them as top 3 in the state, in the order of Painbot, Bates, Terrence. I'd only put Terrence as 3 because he doesn't come out at too much. But afterwards, I question. So let's walk. Painbot versus Terrence, and I don't know if they just forgot to put the extra 1 in there. It should have been 3-1. This, it makes sense. It makes sense on 2 different accounts. The first one I said earlier, which was the fact that Terrence plays Painbot all the time. goes over there every weekend. He's probably on the way over there right now because it is Sunday, and they're going to play. They said they're playing for like hours. Don't even know if they're watching the Super Bowl, but that makes sense to me. I'm not even gonna do the other one right now. I'll save it for a little later. The match specifically was just Terrence being solid. It's the one thing that everybody says about Terrence, and I can't literally say every game he plays because he plays Marvel to some degree, and it's harder for him to show this in Marvel, especially since he's not like the most refined Marvel player. But in his Street Fighter and in his Sam Show play, he's known for being insanely fundamentally sound. Like his ground game is bar none. His anti-airs and really just how he handles an air game in general is amazing. And I word it like that specifically because if you watch, if I say he hit all his anti-airs, you would watch and you'd be like, why didn't he hit this one? Why didn't he hit that one? He puts himself in a lot of positions where he doesn't have to worry about it too much. The few that he blocks are ones that don't lead to huge threats. And when he needs to, he generally has the right anti-air for the right situation. Whether it's like grounded, air-to-air, so on and so forth. It's just, he's a total package. He's a really good example of a player who can show Charlotte for everything she's worth. Because again, Charlotte's not the kind of character that just murders you. Even if she's hitting all the jump C's, which she's hitting all the jump C's, let's be real, you ain't blocking them. But even if she's hitting all the jump C's, she's not going to blow you up unless you just make a decent mistake and give her the low, beefy jump C, right? So she doesn't do a lot of damage, meaning that you have to sit there and kill them with 1,000 cuts. That is something Terrence he's about that life. He's been born and raised in that lifestyle, it feels like. So when he has to stand and look at a character that, for the most part, is trying to do the same thing, just with longer buttons, ones that realistically would then have to deal with tri-slash, bayonet lunge, I think that's the name of the move. I call it divine thrust, because whatever. When you're playing the mid-range, long-range game with Terrence, it's hard. It's hard. So yeah, this 3-1 doesn't surprise me. Now this was interesting right here. Because again, and when we started going through this bracket, one of the first things that I showed you was this kid, Neil, lost to Bates 2-0. And I don't know what happened between this match right here and this match right here. I mean, these two matches happened, but we ain't worried about that. I don't know what happened between here and here. But yo, the kid was on fire here. And the thing that was really cool about both of these matches, I'll get to this one in a second, obviously. The thing that was really cool about both of these matches is it showed you some of the things, a lot of the things that people who really like Sam Show really like about the game. Like, if you've sat down and you've played Neil for a little bit, if you watch Neil a little bit, you talk to Neil a little bit, you can get an idea of how he operates. And sure, the reason why we call him the kid is he's literally 18. Insert all the talk about, oh, he's playing an old man game, blah, blah. He likes old man games, but he is honestly the young man mentality incarnate. there's more truth that I would put to it, but I'm trying to keep this as generic and unified as possible. But what I'm getting at is, in a game that heavily emphasizes the ground game, that heavily emphasizes picking and choosing your spots, he plays Yashimaru. And he's one that is habitually threatening with the air mobility. It's not just the fact that he's double jumping all the time, but he understands that because Yash has a double jump, that if he leaves the ground, you have to consider when and where he's coming down. He has an overhead that hits at least two different spaces. I'm pretty sure it's three. I don't know this for fact. Need to turn the game on to check. The big thing is two different spaces. The good old pizza cutter, right? Yes, it's punishable on block, but you better block it. And you best believe that when you least expect it, the kid's gonna flip the dough and see who's making bread. And it's just his willingness to take the risk to get the reward is something that really shows in his play style. It's calculated. It's calculated. And so it was really cool to see this kid. Oh, I wish I would have had this picture up. I don't have it up. This kid who literally, his first tournament, he lost to Glass Joe. I was joking about this with Coach on the way home. Glass Joe, the man with the 1-99 record. Neil is the one. He is the one. But to see him be able to beat Bates and Painbot, that was something. And I guess I need to kind of put this in a package because I'm running a little longer than I expected. But both of these games, they're Sam Show incarnate in my mind. I was just listening to Painbot. I was gonna say his interview. It was his podcast with Andy OCR. They were just talking. And one of the points that they highlighted was the fact that the way this game is designed, even if you're losing, even when a life lead or health deficit, however you want to word it, even though that matters, if you know your character, if you understand the game, you make the good reads and you take good calculated risks, anything could happen. And there were some points where this kid was done. Like, he's down on his last legs, slap all four buttons, hits the burst, and you're like, sure, if he hits it, he can win. But against Bates, he probably ain't going to hit it. Against Painbot, he probably ain't going to hit it. And he hit some nasty clutch Easons. He hit some pretty sick jumps. He hit the right moves. He went out there and he did the thing. All right. And this score is actually wrong because, again, this is losers finals. Because there was another really cool point. The score for this was 3-2. And game 4 was in Painbot's favor. He was up 2-1. And I don't remember everything that led up to it. But I remember it gets down to the last round, round 3. Kid is in a rage. He pops burst. He pulls up on Painbot. And I think he did his classic, the kid classic, where he's like, I'm just going to run in there. I'm going to run close enough to look for a flinch or to cause a flinch. And I'm going to Eason. Because I believe. And it worked. It wasn't the same thing we saw at KIT where, yeah, I had to bring this up. This ain't gonna die, Painbot. Where Painbot was playing the Yoshitori guy, and the dude goes in, he runs and does the most obvious SSM ever in winners finals, and he hits Painbot. It wasn't like that. Like, that one was Painbot's error. This one that Neil did was like, you either know that they're pressing the button, or you just believe that it's going to happen. Like, yes, it's a Hail Mary, but it's one of the, like, I'm going on about this so much because, again, this is how cool this was. This is how much I've seen them play. Like, if you know Neil, you can know he's going to do this. You can know that this is in his mind. This is in his repertoire. But you don't know where it's coming. And if you're not ready, you get hit by it. Painbot wasn't ready. But remember, that was game 4. So, we're all getting a little loud. I'm back there hitting the ooze. And the thing that actually blew my damn mind, Painbot hits the rematch button. He's ready. Neil takes a second and goes back to character select. You don't see people do that. People don't do that. When somebody hits something crazy like that, they're like, no matter what level it is, locals, grand, majors, Evo Japan, Arc Revo, SPO, whatever somebody wins off of that, they're usually the one mashing rematch. Oh, I got to get back there and hype and everything. The kid, nah, he took a second. He pulled himself back down, uncoached, unprovoked. And he pulled himself back down to earth and closed out game 5. And like that was everybody's highlight of the tournament. Like, going from, man, it'll be forever before I could ever beat these guys. I need to even get the game first. And then, like, 3 months later, however long the game's been, it hasn't been that long. It's been more than 3. Like, it's not an unreasonably long time. And here he is, putting them both in a coffin. All right. So what happened with grand finals, Doug? All right, well, he beat 2 of his demons. He didn't know Terrence was a 3rd demon, and Terrence did Terrence things. I word it like that because when I talked to Neil, like, much later afterwards, I said, like, yeah, you did what you set out to do. Now comes the hard part, which is not only trying to figure out how to beat Terrence, but making sure you don't lose the Painbot and Bates. He was like, I got rolled by Terrence. And for all intents and purposes, he did. But, and this is the thing I pointed out to Neil, he got rolled the way he was supposed to by Terrence, which was, he doesn't know how to deal with that style and that caliber of a player yet. So he felt helpless. He felt helpless and hopeless, which is going to be another page in his story. But only time will tell if he'll be able to figure that one out. But for right now, he helped the revolution in Dogysamich. Like, he helped it. He led the damn thing. Yeah, we went on talking about it for the rest of the day. Painbot has been impeached, kicked out of office, either or, whatever level. Terrence is the new president of the United States of Georgia. Oh, man. It's a new day in Dogysamich. And the real question is, how long is it going to last? Because one thing that was noted, and this is one of the things I was saving for later, it was noted that Painbot says he hasn't been playing too much. Like, he hasn't been literally grinding matches, more specifically. He's been turning the game on. But he's been doing a lot of tutorials and content creation, like really trying to bolster the community as a whole, not just Georgia, but like the entire Sam Show community, trying to get people interested, trying to give them resources, trying to give them a good foundation. And like, this is the fruits of his labor right here. Because he even said long ago, I think I mentioned this somewhere in the beginning, where he said he doesn't even think he's really good at the game. He just knows more than everybody else who was playing around him. And he wants the game to get to the point of where everybody knows what he knows. So if somebody is better than him, they beat him. Here we are. This is the beginning of it. So the real question is, are Terrence and Neil going to be able to maintain, and / or is Painbot going to go on the grind again to pass them both? And Bates too. Man, Bates been getting beat up lately. Dang! But that's where having your live-in buddy is going to do so much. Because, yeah, this is... I'm sitting here thinking about it. This is totally off the script at this point. The script I don't have, obviously. But I've never thought about this. This is the most competitive thing in the state. I'm pretty sure this is the most contested game in the state. Yeah, Street Fighter really isn't. Tekken is, but only when you take out a variable. BB Tag isn't consistent enough. Dragon Ball is 2 people. I haven't seen enough units to know for a fact. I know nothing of Smash at this point anymore, either or. Even with the I don't knows, I'm pretty certain I can say that Georgia Sam Show is like the most contested game at this point. Pretty interesting to watch. But with that being said, and it sounds like I'm trying to trail off, we're not done yet because, I messed up. I had pictures. I got to find a better way. Like, I need to make an overlay or something so I can just, like, slide these in here and just have them there going the whole time. But blah, 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 blah. All right. So, like I said, it's went down at 404 Esports, which is it's in Atlanta. I think it's the Peachtree Plaza, if I remember correctly. It's in Atlanta. If you've been around for years and you remember, I don't even want to mention the old place. That's like trying to get. If you're going down 285, you'll see the big red, white, and blue brand mart. It's in that plaza. Like you can see the plaza that it's in right off the interstate. It's a really good location. We had an old venue that used to be there. The only downside, which is something that Final Boss himself has mentioned, is the fact that this is on the backside. So you have to know that it's there. But even then, it's still really cool place. Really well set up. I actually took this picture later in the day. Because again, this isn't facing the main parking lot. This is the first picture I took after we walked up the stairs and we were walking in to the door. You can see me in the reflection. Haha. But yeah, good old 404. And I cut some pictures out. I'll let you in on a little secret since you're here still. I'm holding some pictures in the roll because I'm going to save that for some things down the road, shortly down the road. So this is not going to be a long album or anything. But yeah, this is some casuals before everything got started. Painbot, playing some games with Coach. Terrence, Neil, and Leo. I've been going back and forth the entire time. Shadow Ace sitting there chilling. Uh, Ace Uno was sitting there playing Garo for like the entire time starting up. That guy. He's playing with Bates. He's playing with Neil when I walked in there. Because again, Neil, this has turned into the Neil show for the first point, but for the most part. But yeah, that kid is he's a modern mystery in fighting games. In the fact that he came into the reboot community, the making community, 17 years old. The main game he's played, the game he loves, is Third Strike. And to remind you, if you don't remember this from about 10 minutes ago, he's 18 now. So it's not like he grew up in or he came in playing Third Strike and he just grew. No, like a couple months ago, kid came up like, yo, I like Third Strike. He's pretty decent at it. But he ain't even in this picture. He ain't even in this picture. Because this is the boss himself, final boss. Excuse me, I keep like coughing off the mic and everything. But final boss. And again, this is something I'm going to save for later when I talk more about like different groups in Georgia. But keeping this short, taking the trip up to 404 very blatantly showed me why it's successful. Like, I already had an idea. Just paying attention to the social media, which reflects a lot of why it's successful. But, like, paying attention to the details, the fact that this isn't the first time that I've met Final Boss. He's been to a decent amount of events. Like, it's very obvious to me why 404 is successful, right? But even then, I'm leading in the wrong way. One of the things that you would see, like if you go, is that he tries to get involved. There's no try. He gets involved. Little things here, big things there, but he's always in the mix trying to see what more he can do. And that along with like responding to feedback, it means so much. Again, I'll go more into it later when I can wrap my head around what I want to say about that specifically. But just know, this is the final boss. He was there, and he was just making sure things were running. Had Iceman down here. And yeah, even though he's one of the core members of the TKN house, he was setting up and running the brackets for Sam's show. Because again, this is part of the TKN house tour final. So he's doing his part. Shadow Ace with his Atlanta Battle Opera shirt. That's Tekken. Painbot, I don't know what he's yawning about, being tired, staying up, making all the videos. Excuse me. I don't know why I put two of them there, but they're there. Ace, yes, Ace was actually playing on the stick. Debut tournament of his stick. The one that he got a Brook converter for, and he could have had a Brook converter for and solved all of his problems, but he didn't. You got Leo over here talking to Coach. Neil, Jeshua, and Ace. I don't remember what they were watching. Yeah, I don't remember what they were watching. And this... Okay, yeah, this was the beginning of Losers Finals. This is the beginning of Losers Finals, if I remember correctly. Because this was... Wait. Whoa. Yeah. Like, I knew I had a picture. This was them starting game 5. But I couldn't remember if I took one immediately when they started. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I could be wrong. Either way, this is after like the explosive game 4. Right before game 5. And I didn't point this out. So the last round Neil was in rage when the last round started. And I think it was round 2. I think he took it in 2 rounds straight. It might have been 3. But he won the last round in either 3 or 4 hits. I want to say it was 3, but I'm saving 4 just to give myself the benefit of the doubt. Because I want to say he hit a JC, a 5C, and a 2C. If he hit a 4th move, it was another C. But he won the last round. Like, it was wild to see. It's just the explosiveness of the game. The explosiveness of the game. And yeah, this is after game 5. And because I had to snap this one really quickly, it's kind of hard to see. But he's literally taking a sigh of relief. Painbot walking off with a little bit of frustration because, like, it finally happened. I'm going to have to take the 3rd place money. Can't even remember if 3rd place got money, but he ain't get 1st place. I'll say that much. Oh, and this is looking at grands. And you got to give me a second to laugh because even though I know I did this, this is still funny to me. This is like somewhere in the middle of the first game, and I looked around and I saw who all was watching, and I see Coach and Ace, both two regulars who play with Neil pretty often, and I just I don't even need to say anything, dude. Sorry for people who don't like anime, but yo, the memes were real. I just said that in the back of my head, and I had to walk off for a second. Oh, man. Proud dad Ace looking at his kid Neil going on, trying to fight in grands. I say trying because, yeah, he didn't put up much of a fight. But, oh, that was so good. That was so good. But that was the Sam Show event at TKN House's Season 2 finale. You don't get to know about what happened for dinner. That's a story for Twitter. that might actually wind up as a video by itself because that was comical. But the tournament itself, the 8-man battle royale, it was pretty sick. Again, I'm really looking forward to the next time a majority of these guys meet up, which it might not be for a while. Because even though there's a Gwinnett Brawl coming up at the end of the month, I think a lot of it's going to be split because people are going to go to the Augusta tournament. But we'll have to see how that goes. This is going to be something very interesting to follow for the next few months. And with that, I'll try to keep up with it and let you know what goes down as I see it. Until then, be easy, yo.